Hello everyone, welcome to this lesson. I'm your presenter Kevin Shiundu. I hope you will enjoy the lesson. So in this lesson we are going to look at the laboratory. So the question that we will ask yourself is, what is a laboratory? A laboratory is a facility that provides controlled conditions in which scientific or technological research, experiments and measurements may be performed. Description. What is a laboratory? A room or building equipped for scientific experiments, research, learning or teaching, or for the manufacture of drugs or chemicals. Another definition of laboratory is a facility that provides controlled conditions in which scientific or technological research, data collection and analysis, experiment, measurement, teaching and learning may be performed. Let's look at the laboratory practices. The discussion will focus on 1. Laboratory practices. Under laboratory practices, we have safety laboratory practices and procedures. We have laboratory design. We have common first aid. Let us look at definition and meaning. A good laboratory practice are acceptable methods to carry out activities or operation in a laboratory, and they have the force of law. Importance. Authorities and laboratory organizations say that these practices help ensure safety of lab users and those utilizing the lab services and products. Continuation on lab practices. They have a positive influence on the quality of the results. For pharmaceutical companies, for example, GLP compliance is extremely important. Part of the quality assurance that ensures that organizations consistently produce and control goods to a high quality standards. Let us look at laboratory safety rules, the general laboratory safety rules. Definition. These basic rules that provide behavior, hygiene, and safety information to avoid accidents in the laboratory. Laboratory-specific safety rules may be required for specific processes, equipment, and materials, which should be addressed by laboratory-specific SOPs. Basic safety rules. Basic safety rules for laboratory conduct should be observed whenever working in a laboratory. The 10 most important lab safety rules, which is follow instructions. Know the location of safety equipment. Dress for the lab. Don't eat or drink in the laboratory. Don't test or sniff chemicals. Don't play mad scientist work, and don't rush nor horseplay in the laboratory. Dispose of lab waste properly. Know what to do with lab accidents. Leave experiments at the lab. Don't experiment on yourself. At the other basic lab rules. Number 1, no location of laboratory safety, showers, eye wash stations, and fire extinguishers located in the hallway near the laboratory entrance. Let's look at the continuation. Number 2, no emergency exit routes. Number 3, avoid skin and eye contact with chemicals. Minimize all chemical exposures. Assume that all chemicals of unknown toxicity are highly toxic. Post warning signs when hazardous materials, hazardous equipment, or other special conditions are present. Avoid distracting or stalling persons working in the laboratory. Use equipment only for its designated purpose. Combine reagents in their appropriate order, such as adding acid to water. Avoid adding solids to hot liquids. All laboratory personnel should place emphasis on safety and chemical hygiene at all times. Never leave containers or chemicals open. All containers must have appropriate labels. Unlabeled chemicals should never be used. Do not test or intentionally sniff chemicals. Never consume and or store food or beverages or apply cosmetics in areas where hazardous chemicals are used or stored. Do not use mouth suction for pipetting. Wash exposed areas of the skin prior to leaving the laboratory. Long hair and loose clothing must be pulled back and secured from entanglement or potential capture. No contact lenses should be worn around hazardous chemical, even when wearing safety glasses. Laboratory safety glasses or goggles should be worn in any area where chemicals are used or stored. They should also be worn anytime there is a chance or splashes or particulates to enter the eye. Closed-toe shoes should be worn at all times in the laboratory. Perforated shoes or sandals are not appropriate. Determine the potential hazardous and appropriate safety precaution before beginning any work. If an unknown chemical is produced in the laboratory, the material should be considered hazardous. Do not pour chemicals down drains. Do not utilize the sewer for chemical waste disposal. Keep all sink traps and filters, including cap sink traps and floor drains, filled with water by running water down the drain at least monthly. Do not utilize fumes chambers for evaporation and disposal of volatile solvents. Work with hazardous chemicals in a functional fume chamber reduces exposures. Avoid working alone in a building. Do not work alone in a laboratory if the procedures being conducted are hazardous. Laboratory employees should have access to a chemical inventory list, department laboratory safety manual, and relevant standard operating procedures, SOP. SOP is the standard operating procedures.